Hi, everyone. This week we have part 2 of our wire warm-up assignment. And I want to kind of go over the steps or how to start and also different ways of attaching wire. There is an endless amount of ways that you can build this form and connect the wire. But I'm going to show you one way and then talk about some other ways that you can connect the wire. After I build a portion of my form, then what I want to do is I want to talk about adding the tissue paper and glue to the form so that you can cover up either the whole piece or just parts of your piece with the tissue paper to make it a closed form or have some negative space in your form. So let me switch my camera and I will talk about the wire, and I will also talk about how to connect and the tools. Okay, so what we have here is some different sizes of wire. I'm asking you for 2 different sizes of wire. So I have this is a 19 gauge here. That's going to be a little bit harder to bend, a little bit thicker. Then here, what I'm using right now is the 20 gauge. So this is just a little bit smaller. And then I also have a 24 gauge, and this is going to be quite thin. What I would recommend for this project is to use a 19 to 20 gauge. And then for our main wire project, that 24 gauge or 22 gauge is going to come in handy for details. So first, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to pick one of your organic forms from the drawing. And I have kind of made the outline of the form. And I'm going to start off with this. Now, one of the ways to attach the 2 wires together is just by twisting. Here are my needle nose pliers, and they have cutters here in the middle. So this is one of the 2-in-1 tools here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to start twisting these 2 wires together to kind of lock them in place. One thing that I find that a lot of students like to do is cut the wire. But actually, you could do a whole bunch without cutting. And I actually think it stays better if you don't cut. So I'm not going to cut this off immediately. I'm actually just going to bend it and start doing one of the other side contours coming down, so that way I can continue to build this form but not cut it. So once I have it wrapped, we can go ahead and start making this 3D. And so I'm leaving that space so that way it's coming out and I'm really getting that 3D form. So I'm gonna come fold it. And I have it bent there in the middle. And then when you get it to where you want to reattach it again, you might want to cut at this point. But what I would do instead of cutting it right here, I actually would recommend leaving it long. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a whole bunch of wire and get it kind of longer. So that way I have extra, and then I'm going to cut it. This gives me more length to wrap and play around with to finish up the other contours. And now what I can do here is now I can take my wire and pull it through and wrap it. Around so that way it's staying in place and I didn't have to cut it. And now I can go ahead and continue making this form 3D on the other side. So now I'm doing kind of like a cross, right? And so now I'm coming down the other side and figuring out how much I want it to stick out, how much volume do I need there, and then bringing that around and creating more volume and then having it connect to the bottom of the form. I think I'm gonna have it connect down here and then maybe break another one off. So wrapping the wire is one of the ways that you can create a connection and kind of get the wire to hold where it needs to hold. Okay. The one thing about the wrapping though that I want you to be aware of is the wrapping creates a denser area of wire. And where it's wrapped and you have that thicker wire, that can be emphasized. Now you can use that emphasis to your advantage in our main project by using an extra wire where you want that area to stand out, a thicker line quality, right? By doubling the wire, making it darker. But for something like maybe this form, we don't necessarily want that connection emphasized. So I'm gonna actually wrap not on the side that I already wrapped, but on the other side to not make that side even thicker than what it already is. So making sure I have my volume that I want on the side, and then I'm just gonna, with my cut long end of the wire, I'm gonna wrap. And this will help it stay in place. Now, if you're having a hard time keeping the wire together, then you almost want to, instead of just twisting one wire around like I'm doing here, you actually kind of want to twist them both around each other, and that'll help them stay. That's another kind of beginner problem with the wire, is that the wire doesn't stay where you want it to. So now I have a form that kind of has the four corners coming out. Right, I have all my four sides coming. And then now I want to do some of the cross contour. So I'm actually going to cut this because I have at least the basic corners here. These are old rusty wire cutters, so take a minute. There. Be careful with some of these sharp edges, okay? Sometimes students, they complain about cutting themselves. The wire is sharp once you cut it with the tool. So sometimes what I do is I just kind of tuck them back in so that way they're not sticking out, and hopefully they're not too sharp. You can also wear gloves if you find that you're really getting beat up from the wire. You can also totally wear gloves, okay, while you're doing it. So that's up to you. Okay, now we want to consider some of the cross contour lines that we want to go around. So I'm going to connect this wire onto the side of one of the wires that we just did. This one's going to be a little bit harder to stay in place. So we're really going to want to wrap this one well and tight, and then also maybe have this other wire maybe come back down and kind of wrap over it so that way it stays in place. That's a big thing, is that students, I've heard, oh, my wire keeps moving, doesn't want to stay in place. So make sure you wrap it really tight. Okay, so now we're going to do some of the cross contour lines, and once again, volume is still really important. So as I make this wire, I want it to really make sure it's standing out and creating that volume there going around, right? So from here, I have that volume that's kind of matching that curve that I created. And then now I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it. And I'm not gonna cut it. I'm just gonna wrap it really tight. And maybe wrap it twice. Hopefully it stays in place. And you can always squeeze the wraps together. And then continue on with your cross contour. Line around. Okay. I think I said around 10 inches for these, so it should be kind of large. You can decide how close you want the cross contour lines to be, or how far apart you want them to be. I'm gonna leave that up to you as the artist to decide. You definitely need enough wire to show the form. And because we're doing the tissue paper, you don't want to leave it too open with the wire, because the wire is what we're going to attach the tissue paper onto. So just think about that as you are. So now we're starting to get the cross contour. So we have, this is the center, it's coming out, and then now we're starting to come around here. And come around, and then I'm gonna do one more here to meet back up. So we have two more little crossings, and then we're going to finish this cross contour. And then we'll just continue along the form with the cross contours till we have a completed form. Okay. See, so now we have the 4 coming out here, and then we have the line coming around, and I'm gonna go ahead and close this one up right here. If you're having a hard time with the 18 or 19 bending it, then go to a 20 gauge. The 24 might be too flimsy, but if you feel like you like that gauge, then go for it. Okay. I'm going to talk about another way of connecting the wire. It takes a little bit more planning, but you won't have the movement. And since we already have the drawings of our piece, that it should be easy. So I'm going to talk about loops, creating loops that you can then wrap within it in one another. Okay, so we have the start of our cross contour going on here, right? So this is obviously one of those rounded ends here. And we have the 4 points coming out, and then we have the start of our cross contour coming out. And we are really making this a 3D form here, and it's really sticking out there. Okay. I'm gonna grab some other wire and then come back to this when we get to the tissue paper. Okay, so I'm just gonna sample. I'm gonna take two pieces of wire here. All right, so another way is you can plan out where you're going to do the connection points. So for our organic forms, it's going to be where those cross contour lines meet. And you can make a little loop. And then what you can do is you can take another wire and create a loop. I'll run it through in there. Create another loop around that. And then you can always tighten these two loops by kind of squeezing them. And that will give you a connection point as well, just kind of like with a little knot, the two loops that you then have clamped together. And that's not moving anywhere. It's not moving up and down here. It's not moving across either of the two wires. So a loop and a loop, and then just kind of smush those loops, and you're gonna have a really strong connection point, okay? If you have a lot of movement in your two wires, instead of just wrapping one around one, you really want to try to twist the two around each other. That's another way. What I did is I made like two little hooks, right? A hook and a hook, and then you can wrap those two together, smush them, and then wrap the ends around the opposing sides, and then take this side and wrap it around. So really, there's, like I said at the beginning, there's endless ways that you can go ahead and connect the wire or build these forms. And especially when we get to our main project with wire, there's so many ways that you can make this. So I'm just showing you, a couple ways, but as you're working, if you find a way that works for you, then go for it. So that's another connection there as well. Okay. All right, so going back to the form that I was working on, part of this project is covering it up, almost like a paper mache. So you're going to use Elmer's glue. This is Elmer's glue, the school glue. I prefer the Glue All, but this is what I have right now. And you're going to take about 2 parts glue to 1 part water, or 1 part glue to 3/4 water. You want to have more glue than water. So I have a little mix here of glue and water. I'm just going to stir it up with my wire here. Kind of get it just a little bit more watery, not so thick. And a paintbrush would also be good, and you just want to make sure that you're washing out your paintbrush after you do this. Yeah, paintbrush as well. Okay, so once you have that glue mixture pretty well mixed, then you can go ahead and take your tissue paper. I asked you to have white tissue paper. I have purple. If you do want to use a colored tissue paper, that's fine too. Just use what you have or what you already purchased. I'm going to take a little bit of tissue paper here. You could also cut it if you want. And you can go ahead and place it into the glue and take some of that off. And I would do both sides, put glue on both sides. And those of you who have done paper mache before, this is the process. Then you can be careful with your tissue paper because it's wet, it's going to be quite fragile. Then what you can do is over your form, you can go ahead then and lay that tissue paper with the glue over your form. Oh, I'm sure a little bit longer. There we go. And cut it if you need to, and you can wrap it over the edges of the wire and back in on itself. So that way, when it dries, it'll attach to itself. So fold it around over the wire, and that will help it stay. Do the same thing for the bottom here and try to wrap it around. And I'm going to actually fold it over the top again. So create a few layers here. And if you need more glue, you can take a paintbrush and paint on some more glue. And you can do a couple layers if you want to. Good to kind of work in pieces of the tissue paper. Oh, sorry. And then wrap it around the wire. I would use a paintbrush, but I need a little bit more glue over here. Okay. And so now I have that segment covered with the glue and the tissue paper. Sorry. And I'm trying to keep that volume that I created with the wire. So you can see how it's still sticking out as well, curving out with that as well. So that's how you're going. Now, then you're going to let this dry and it'll harden. And then it will keep that, it'll keep that shape. Okay. So you as the artist, you're going to decide how much should you cover. If you want to cover the whole thing, if you want to just cover segments, I think I'm just going to cover some segments. That's what I'm kind of more interested in. Leaving some negative space, so I might leave this area open, but then cover up another area as part of my form. So yeah, this will take probably about 24 hours to dry fully, could be less, but give it some time to dry as well. Okay. So that's going to be kind of the start of our organic form warm-up assignment. Okay, if you have any questions, message me. But you can see how, you know, we have the cross contour going around, and we can start to kind of cover up and enclose the form with the tissue paper. Okay. And use some pieces of tissue paper, you know, kind of rip some off, get some more manageable pieces, and then assess your form and where you want the tissue paper to go. Okay. All right. That would be it, but you want to complete this. So later on, what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish up some more cross contour lines. I have this blobby thing sticking out here. So what I want to do is I want to make that circular. So I'll probably have 2 more wires come down and connect, and then start circling this too, so that I have 1 and 2 and 3 kind of outer rounded forms coming out from my main form, and decide how close I want these cross contour pieces to be. I do think if you have more of the cross contour lines, it'll be easier for the tissue paper, and you'll be able to be a little bit more accurate with your form. So good luck. And like I said, message me if you have any questions. Thank you.